Hi, everybody. Bill Huddleston back alongside Muskogee Ruffer head football coach Rafa Watkins, talking all things Ruffer football. Coach, I know it was an off week last week, but perhaps it was an off week at the exact right time.
Well, it was perfect time. You know, one is we'd come to a brutal stretch there with 4 games in a row, but the biggest thing was the Bixby, Booker T, and Sand Springs. Those 3 tough teams. You know, behind us, 2, 3, and 4. How you want to look at it in the state. It was a week we needed one to heal up a little bit. We've still got a couple of injuries from that Sand Springs game, but we'll be getting 1, maybe 2 back here this week. But big thing is we worked on ourselves. You know, we got to still have plenty of things that we have to work on to get better at. And I think that we was able to do that. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday we were able to work on us, and then Thursday and Friday we started putting a little bit of the Sapulpa game plan in. And then, of course, yesterday we put the whole game plan in, being Monday. So it was a good week off for us. I was looking forward to it all year long. I thought it would be a good one, more so than the week 3. But our kids come back out focused. We realized we got a little lax. And not to mention that Sand Springs was a good football team also.
Absolutely. I mean, it was a hard-fought ball game, and everybody knows the play of the day result that ended up in that 1-point setback to Ruffer's first loss of the year. But, Coach, I think what you've noticed, and I know the players have felt, is how this community has embraced them, patting them on the back when the wins were going 1 through 6, but then in that unbelievable finish, everybody seemed to wrap them around their shoulders and say, come on, guys, we still got this.
Well, they do. You know, they realized it was kind of a fluke there at the end. We shouldn't have put ourselves into that situation, but we did. And I think we'll be better off for it, to be quite honest. And again, as you mentioned earlier, the help that we got from Booker T beating Sand Springs in last week 17-12, it put us back in the driver's seat. We've got to take care of our own business now, and, you know, that's all we're worried about. This number 1, number 2, whatever it is, I could care less about. I hate ratings. But the main thing is we're number 1 in the district at the end of the year, and then the number 1 team in the state after week 13. You know, we got a good week put in for us. We're going to worry about Sapulpa Chieftains this week and getting over there and playing hard. They're coming off their first win. Right now they got a 1-game winning streak, and we got a 1-game losing streak. So they're excited and knowing that they have Broken Arrow next week, because they'll finish up their district play this week. They didn't have an off week. Their off week would be week 10, and they were going to play Broken Arrow. So this is their senior night, and we'll get their very best effort, I can assure you.
Well, it should be an interesting game on Friday night, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But after break, we're going to come back and go through some of the highlights of Ruffer football in 2016, and also take a close inside look at the current 6A2 district standings. And it just so happens that it's the number 1, 2, 3, and 4 ranked teams in Class 6A2 football. We'll do that after this quick timeout here on TV 15. Welcome back on TV 15. Bill Huddleston alongside Coach Rafa Watkins. Coach, it seems like an eternity since that first 0-week game on the road at Midwest City. And as we roll through some of our video highlights throughout the season in no particular order, this team has evolved in all factions of the game. Offense, obviously, with all the points. Defense, that's created points. I mean, you take a look at the plus takeaway turner ratio, and then kicking game. All parts of it just have become a complete unit.
Well, and that's what you have to do to be a championship team. You know, as you went back to our defense, we always talk about defense wins championships, giving up the least points in 6A Division II football. I think we're in 6A all combined second overall in defense behind Norman North. So if you look at all of that, really proud of the effort that our guys have gone through. Our kicking game, as you said, we're 4 for 4 on field goals. We've missed 2 extra points. We're a plus 20 in the turnover ratio, which is just probably the most important thing of all. You're watching the highlights and seeing our passing game. Here's what it's showing mostly. You know, it's been great. Our protection has been good. Jacob's been hit very few times. He's had 1 interception. I think right now we're at 11 or 12 touchdowns to 1 interception. He's got some great targets to go at, and you know, we got a little secret that we've got that's going to be coming back in a couple of weeks that's gotten better with his knee injury, and Jamari Davis, our leading receiver from last year, so he gets another weapon. And we got Braylon Duncan back this week, who had a broken collarbone, a kid that we felt like was going to get a lot of looks early in the season. So our passing game, as long as those big boys up front keep providing protection for Jacob, I think it's going to be very strong.
And when we've been able to create those scoring opportunities. Many of those have either stopped drives where the opponent was moving the ball downfield, or in some cases we've seen, i.e. the Bartlesville game where Cam picked it off in the end zone and took it to the house. Defense puts points on the board too.
Sure, they have, and so is the special teams, and so that's what it takes. It's a recipe for a championship type team, and hopefully that's where we're heading in the direction of district champions and hopefully eventually state champions. But you know, it's just it's been a remarkable year. You hate the setback that we had 2 weeks ago, but we'll get through it. You know, we'll be better for it.
Well, no doubt this ball game Thursday night or Friday night has a great deal of impact because the Ruffers will go on the road, as you said. And as we flip out of the video highlights, let's go and take a current look at the standings in 6A2-2. And if we take a look at that, Coach, you can see there's a 1, 2, 3, 4-way tie for the top 3 and 1. Now, explain for our viewers what that last column over on the right, the tie points, mean.
Well, each game you get you can get up to 15 total points, and what helped us so much was beating Booker T. Washington by 15, because you know a lot of people's gotten the 15 points on the Bartlesville and the Sapulpa and Ponca City, but us getting it on Booker T. was huge for us. Just losing by 1 point to Sand Springs, but beating Bixby by 3. That's how all that comes out to. Which Bixby, you know, they're right now 10+ points over there, even though we won by 3 over them. But they have had all those teams that we talked about. Their next 2 weeks are the big games for them. They've got Sand Springs and Booker T. Washington, not in that order, flipped. Booker T. Washington, Sand Springs. So you know, if they get their plus 15, they're still up there. The other way though is, if things go the way that you know you kind of project and think that Bixby probably will beat Sand Springs, then we have head-to-heads with Bixby, and so even if they have more points at the end, the plus points is only for a second. Like if there's a 3-way tie, then it goes to the points. So say us, Booker T, and Bixby all finished up with 1 loss there, then even though we had the head-to-head to those, it still goes to the point system, which it can't really with the situation we're in great shape. All we have to do is win these next 2 weeks and we're district champions.
Well, really, that's really what it comes down to, just the 3 letters, TCB, take care of business.
Right. You can sit there and we can show 1,000 scenarios, and then, of course, if we get beaten the next 2 games, then it throws a whole nother thing in there. You can sit here and what-if things to death, but the bottom line is if the Ruffers take care of business the next 2 weeks, we're district champions.
Well, certainly it's nice for the Ruffers to have that type of conversations going around the camp, in the locker room, on the field, and talking with the players talking about themselves, all the Twitter and Facebook chatter that's going on out there, and the community's involvement. You can just tell that this has been a long time in coming, and it's nice to have that winning feel back in Ruffer football.
It's certainly a whole lot better than the 3-7 seasons, that's for sure. You know, the kids have put in the hard work, and I can't say enough for our teachers here of helping out our kids with different things, and the support that they've had in this school, and that's what they should be getting. You know, they work hard every day, and coaching staff has just been incredible this year. I can't say enough about my assistants there. They work their tails off on the weekends and all during the week, and you know, and good things are still coming too, because our 8th grade last night finished off an undefeated season. Our 9th grade finished up with a 7-1 season, only had 1 loss to Tulsa Kelly. So you know, good things are happening with the football program right now, and it's going to continue to go well.
Well, no doubt winning breeds winning. And Coach, also another group that we want to say special thank you to are the Spirit Squads at Muskogee High School,
That's
whether
right.
that's the cheerleaders, the band, the dance squad. I mean, everybody's a part of this, and it's so much fun to see it all together. Now, quickly before we get out of here, word on Sapulpa, who, like you said, got their first win last week.
They have, got a new coach. He's the old defensive coordinator from Sand Springs, so you know that in time they're going to get their defenses at where he'd like to have it right now. They're still giving up a few points more, but he will get them in the right direction. But they got their first win over Ponca City last week. I believe it was 28-27. Final score, I saw 2 different scores in there, and some had it at 21-17, but I believe it was 28-27 was final. Regardless, they won the ball game. They've got a really, really good quarterback. He's very explosive. If we don't take care of business on him, he can break a long one. They've got a great receiver in the Inks kid, number 6. He's had 2 kickoff returns, one against Bixby and one against Bartlesville for touchdowns this year. So anytime we kick off, we got to know where number 6 is at. He's an outstanding receiver, probably the best receiver we've faced this year. He high points the ball really well, goes up for it, so our secondary's got their challenges against him. I think where we do have a little bit of advantage against them is probably in our lines, our offensive and defensive lines. They're young, they're big and physical, but they're young, and so we should be able to get after them pretty good in the lines.
Well, we're going to revert back to the old days of Rougher football on the media side this weekend. We've been bringing you live stream, video, and audio of all the games. Friday night going to be a little bit different. We'll still be on Rougher.tv, but during the actual game, because of policies put in place by Sapulpa Public Schools, we will only have an audio-only broadcast. Now, that's not going to keep us from bringing you video after the game. So you can tune in to myself and Nick. We'll give you a complete, colorful play-by-play description of all the action. And then afterwards, our Rougher TV crew that has done such an admirable job all season long, the students, Shane Stewart and his crew, just do an outstanding job of giving us all the sights of the game. We'll have that video for you still on Rougher.tv. So, Coach, it's just old school football Friday night from the broadcast to winning, and that's what's most important.
That's the most important, is the winning.
Absolutely. For head coach Rafa Watkins, I'm Bill Huddleston. We'll see you hopefully Friday night at the game, and if not, right back here next week on TV 15. And as always, remember, it's a great day to be a Rougher.